What's up, guys? How's it going? My name is Zahias,
I'm Joe.
and welcome back to Cozy Talks. Um,
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it was kind of a fucking bad one. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts a lot when you got a lot of your picks right, but it's just one. It's just one that does not come through, and yeah, we're feeling it. But how you feel, Joe?
uh, got to see it go through the net. It was a frustrating night. Feel like the way I was betting, how I was kind of dividing up the card, it didn't work out in my favor because I lost on the Eli fight, and then we lost on the Jake Matthews fight, which we shouldn't have lost on. But we'll get into that. Before we get into it, though, make sure you guys like this. Leave a comment on how you did, if your predictions were right, if you chose the two that we got wrong. If
Yeah,
you,
let us know if you tailed, if
yeah,
you tailed any of our plays.
yeah, show us your tickets that you hit. Share it with a friend. We wanna educate and share this experience with as much people as we can. We appreciate you guys that are constantly tuning in. But yeah, with that being said, we're gonna go over this recap for UFC Perth, and then as you see this poster below, this week is UFC 320. So
Oh yeah.
So this week we're gonna be dropping our Tuesday show and our Friday show, and then yeah, we'll be watching it Saturday. I'm excited for that one.
Hell yeah. Most definitely excited for 320.
Yeah, but
Most
before
definitely excited.
before we get there, let's go over UFC Perth, get it out of the way, and then yeah, we'll move. So starting off UFC Perth, we had the prelim fight that after watching this fight, it felt like it deserved to be a prelim fight for sure. I mean, Tainara did kind of exactly what I thought she was going to do. She, used her striking to build and develop her grappling, and she was way more vicious than I thought she was going to be. Her dropping those 12-6 elbows on the ground and just utter dominance all around. It definitely you could definitely see a bit of the gap in the striking though. Luma definitely had the edge on the feet, and it was just Tainar was just a bigger woman. She was able to just take her down and ragdoll her, and that's kind of where the fight played out most of the time, as you can see in the control time, the 10 minutes. Um, yeah, this was my pick. I had Tainara sub, but Tainara on the pick. So
Yeah,
um,
I honestly had it going both ways. I think it could have been honestly really could have been inside the distance for Tainara.
yeah,
But I had Tainara money line on a lot of my tickets.
yeah,
So my overall pick was Tainara. Fortunately, she did not get that submission, even though
she was
she most definitely could
close.
have. Yeah, she most definitely could have if she wanted it.
Yeah,
But really seemed like she was going for some knockout, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Like I've been saying, Tainar is she's kind of my dark horse for the strawweight division. I mean, she is a big girl for this division. She easily could fight up a bantamweight, or even what's the division up strawweight? It is bantamweight, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think she could easily fight in that division as well. I mean, she probably wouldn't be as successful because those girls are a little bit bigger. Um, but no, yeah, I think she can make a title run for sure. She's still pretty young, and she's a little energetic chick, fun to watch.
yeah, that
Uh,
was a pretty good performance from Tainara, honestly, but she should have gotten that finish.
yeah, that would have been real nice. Moving on. This was just a total wrong pick, and we apologize if you guys tailed this. Man, we like we said, we
I
only we
mean,
on- we only bet this side. Oh, I only took this side because he's a Washington guy. I mean, he did have a pretty interesting sequence in one of those nine punches where it looked like if a handful of those even connected, he may have dropped Perisic, but Perisic is just
yeah,
he's a big dude. After
100%.
after seeing him in the ring with Eli, I'm like, all right, we probably have another legitimate heavyweight. We just saw what's his name, the guy that just fought Tibura. That I mean, that's another heavyweight that it looks pretty interesting. Came over from PFL, and that's kind of how I feel about Barakic. You know, he can come over and be another guy that isn't gonna just want to weigh on you and be a big fatty.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean it was upsetting to see that happen. It was
Mhm.
honestly really upsetting because I mean Eli got knocked out in a brutal way, and
Mm,
he was out for quite a bit. They had to bring out the oxygen tanks, to wake him up. And
yeah.
honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for picking Eli. I was gonna rock with Eli either way. I didn't have Brando on any one of these tickets. I did have this fight not going the distance, even though it was like a minus 1300. You know, S-
Yeah. Uh,
but yeah, that was just real brutal. Um, Honestly, Brando, in my opinion, maybe I just didn't see enough footage of him, bro. Cause holy shit, uh, he's kind of scary.
Yeah, I think the thing I missed on was the gym that he's affiliated with. He is affiliated with
Yeah.
He's affiliated with City
Yep.
Kickboxing, which is where Navajo Sterling's from, where Israel Adesanya's from. I think Kayakara trains there as well. Like, there's just a handful of
Yep.
these Kiwis, and he's one of those guys to keep your eye on moving forward in this division for sure. One of the mistakes Eli did make in this was, he tried to, like, I don't know if he tried to pull guard or if he just fell to his back. I'm not really sure what that sequence was about. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, he was just stuck at that point. I mean, it's kind of weird to see a heavyweight pull guard if that's what he did. I don't know. I don't know if he was just out and fell to the ground and then just kind of playing defense. But yeah, it's kind of a weird sequence. I mean, hopefully we see more of Eli though. This was supposed to be a contender series fight, but obviously they kind of moved it to the UFC. So hopefully that means that he has a contract going forward, and we see more of him because yeah, I think he'd be a fun fighter to watch for sure. More Washington fighters is always good. But yeah, let's move on. Next fight, we got Michelle Montague, I think is how they said it. I kept saying Montague all week. Versus Luana Carolina. Uh, the pick in this one, felt like was an obvious, Montague inside the distance submission.
Yeah.
Um, but this fight was, I don't know, this fight felt really weird. I mean, Luana lost a point, but I still felt like this was a kind of a weird, close fight. Just because you got the savvy vet Luana, she knows her way around the octagon. She knows how to make fights interesting. To correct for this being a 30-25 and it's in a 20-26, she cracked Montague. Like I'm
Yeah.
like that's what had me so surprised and so worried in this fight, that the way like they said that this was just so one-sided. I mean, it was, to be fair. I mean, you look at the control time, and you just like she just had her number on the ground. um I mean, I guess those strikes are probably from the ground, because on the feet she kind of was just more hesitant. She definitely was kind of being a little transparent, and you could kind of read that she was trying to get this to the ground, and she's like that's her only method of victory here. Um,
Yeah.
but it was a good debut for her. She'll be an interesting fighter for this division. Carolina's kind of one of those girls that you got to get by if you want to be anywhere near the rankings. So we'll see what's going on with her moving forward. I'm excited to see another fighter on a debut come in and kind of not necessarily make a splash, but get their name out there.
Yeah, I like Michelle's performance on
Yeah.
that fight. I'm not gonna lie, like you were saying, she did get cracked a couple of times. It did
Hmm.
look like she was, possibly gonna lose the fight. Um, I think it was like towards the end of the first, Luana kind of like put on this like five punch combo,
Yeah.
and Montague was backing up, and Luana was just landing every single one of them.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I got I don't have anything to say. Montague's looked pretty good. She looked like a mini Kayla Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Uh,
She most definitely got a chin on her. I
yeah.
will say that. But my pick for this fight, I did say Montague inside the distance, possible inside the distance.
Yeah.
But my overall pick was just Montague money line
Mm,
as like a parlay piece.
yeah. Moving on, we had my underdog snipe. I was very confident in this pick. Colby Thickness versus Josias Musasa. Thickness gets it done on a unanimous decision, 2020 on the scorecard. And yeah, I mean, this is a fight that definitely was very similar to the Montague fight in the sense that Colby Thickness stood no chance on the feet, and early in the first, it looked like it was about to just be Masasa taking his fucking head off, getting out of there real quick in the first. But then Thickness adjusted. He started to work his game plan a bit. He wanted to circle around the cage, find his his shot in. He had some really clean wrestling chains. um, he worked a clean trip with the back of his foot on the back of Musasa's leg. Worked him down to the ground. Musasa was a sitting duck. I'm surprised Thickness didn't get a submission here, but he is. I
Yeah,
mean, you look at the build of Musasa. He's got long arms. He's really strong. Thickness worked a Kimura grip from the ground, and he was just all over. I'm surprised I only gave him one submission attempt. I feel like he was working a lot of different things or trying to set up a bunch of different things. Um, but yeah, and then it kind of felt like the tide kind of turned a little bit in Masasa's favor after the nut shot. He used it to his advantage, got that he basically used the full five to kind of catch his breath a bit. It probably helped Thickness too, being the wrestler. You take those breaks when you can get them because you're blowing your arms up all the time. And yeah, at the end of the first, he was hammering down the shots on Musasa, blowing his arms up. Second round, Musasa totally took it one way. Um, and then third round, it was like it was kind of working Musasa's favor for the first part of the round, and then it was kind of like if Thickness gets a takedown, that's basically it for the fight because Musasa hasn't shown any sort of get up game, and that's how it ended. Is he got taken down, and that was it.
yeah. I had made my pick on this fight not going the distance, but unfortunately it ended up going the distance. I did do some live betting, and same thing as Joe, sniped Kobe Thickness before the fight started as an underdog. So that ended up hitting just a straight bet. So
Yeah. We started. We
yeah,
we start. I think it was this fight, or no, it was last fight. We started. You and I both started doing a little straight bet, ladder bet thing where we just take it and we build it up at each fight as we go.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So that's one thing that we do. This was my second play. Actually, my first one, I had put $25 on Montague,
hmm,
and then that smacked, and then the rest put it on Thickness. That hit, and yep,
yeah.
that's as far as we went. But
So yeah. Moving on. That was a great win for Thickness. Volkanovski's training partner. Um, this was another fight. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of decisions on this card. Perth prelims was kind of a stinker, from what I recall. I mean, you expect knockout at heavyweight, but it's been decisions all up to this point. Uh, this fight, I was kind of reverse jinxing myself because I had a Malarkey moneyline ticket, but this dude's like it's like we talked about on the show. He's just got that glass chin. Um, but he was totally in control of this fight. Bedoya was just for being a volume striker and only landing 55 total strikes. That's a win in Malarkey's book. And no matter how you look at it, I mean Malarkey. He was he kind of looked like a grappling ace. He was really strong on the ground, and anywhere this fight went, it felt like he kind of dictated. Um, I can't really remember which round that he lost.
I would say the third round was real
Was it
close.
that? Yeah, because that's
Yeah,
what Malarkey's notorious for. Is he's notorious for gassing out when it gets later in the fight. Um, but yeah, no, he was up 2-0 if I remember right. Yeah, like you're saying, and then the
yeah,
third
the
he was
third,
kind of smoked.
yeah, then in the third, Bedoya. I don't know why the fuck Bedoya waited all the way until the third round
Mm,
to really start being a pressure fighter and putting it on Malarkey. But yeah, third round was real close. Bedoya, I'd say most of his strikes came from
that
the last
third,
round.
yeah, his corner got
Yeah,
on his ass and told him like, "Hey, you're down 2-0. You need to finish."
Yeah, and I mean, you're 28 years old. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, not a great way to make your debut at this weight class. Like, he was fighting up at 170. This was his, I think it was his 155 debut. I don't know if he had a fight before this, but yeah, I mean, it kind of looks more on him. You know, I can't really see him fighting at 170. I mean, he looked kind of small in there. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, moving on. Another fantastic underdog snipe. I was very shocked to even see Petrosky, as the favorite. And I think that is just because of Cam Rowson's one loss from over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, if it was even that long, against Torres Finney, where Torres Finney just wrestle fucked him. But do you look at Torres Finney? Torres Finney is a long, strong dude. Doesn't have a neck. He's got straps up to his ears,
And that's all
and
he got.
yeah, and that I mean that he's a one trick pony, and it worked in his favor really well. Um, Cam Rouston just came out, and I mean, as you can see, first round fucking knockout. It was really clean. It was kind of a weird shot. It didn't look like there was a lot of power on the shot, but the way it clipped Petrosky's temple, it was enough to daze him, drop him, and then he tried to grab an armbar off his back while he's dazed, gets stuck on the ground, and then Rouston lays down some bombs, and then the ref breaks it up. So yeah, I mean, it was a short notice fight for both these guys, but Rouston looked like he had a full camp. I mean, he came out and just looked clean, walked out unscathed. I think he can easily fight one more time this year.
Oh, 100%. And I'm pretty sure that's what he wants too.
Wants to be active.
Um, yeah, he wants to fight one more time. Same with Navajo Sterling. Um, but like I said this in the video, called it. Cam Rowston knockout was a juicy play.
Yeah,
That was plus 500. So if you snipe that, good on you.
yeah. Yep. Moving on. We got the featured prelim. One second. We're good. All right. We have Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. This was supposed to be Navajo's coming out party. And again, it feels like, he's just right there for it. I mean, credit to Bellato, first of all, because Navajo probably could have got a knockout 9 times out of 10 on any other person, but Bellato's got a brick for a skull. There's a couple times up along the cage that Navajo kind of just, took some shots to the body on him, and then, went upstairs a few times, and Bellato just ate it. He didn't look phased in any sort of way. It was very, very surprising. But just like any sort of fight that you see with Navajo Sterling, something along the cage, just a clinch work, eats up a lot of the time in the fight, kind of plays out through the rounds, and just gets a little excessive, a little boring. Um, but yeah, like we said, like I said, I said this last night. He's got that Alex Pereira kind of build, and he kind of fights in that same way. With that strong kickboxing background, fights a little upright, and he's just really fucking strong and really long, and he uses his reach to his full advantage. But yeah, Bellato, surprised he didn't get him out of there. That was my shot. That was definitely my prop. I think on almost everything. I had Navajo Sterling on a few parlays, but the KO prop was a pretty heavy wager on this fight for me.
Yeah, I did have Sterling knockout on a couple of tickets. My main play here was just Sterling money line. And I will say this, if you watched our video all the way through, all the way to the parlays, I did mention a parlay that I was pretty confident in, and this was the last leg of it. It was a four-legger. Alexia Tarnara, Michelle Montague, Cam Rowson, and Navajo Sterling, all money line, and that smacked.
Got the
So
dub.
got the dub on that. If you tailed, congratulations. Let us know in the comments. I love you. Uh, but yeah, I did have Rodolfo, or I did have Sterling by knockout, but he ended up getting it done on the judges' scorecards.
Yeah. Uh,
Just surprising to me.
yeah, and as far as what's next, I mean Navajo again, just like we talked about with Rousen, this is a guy that really wants to stay active, and he most definitely can be very active in this division. What's next for him? I think he called out Ibo Aslan. That's what it was. So I expect that fight to be booked, in the next coming months. Ibo, I think, was originally supposed to be his opponent, or there was some talks of it and it fell through.
Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, either way, that's a fun fight. Ibo brings a lot of knockout power. He trained in the Dagestani mountains for a little bit. Um, I don't know. I think that'll be a really fun fight.
For sure.
Two guys who bring a lot of power. On the other side, you got Bellato. He's got the 1-1 record in his last four. I don't know if they keep him around. He kind of just feels like a really stale fighter at this point. Maybe they set him up with a vet, try and give him a layup fight, or just something that's
He
a
already
little more
did.
on his level. That is
He
true.
already tried to.
They tried it with Paul Craig.
Get him out.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's 12-3.
PFL.
It's a weird spot for him for sure. Moving on, let's get into the main card opener. We got Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. All week I've been saying Tom Nolan in the videos. I said Tom Nolan, but wrong prop, of course. I had Tom Nolan decision because I feel like he was just gonna be a volume striker. But wow. I mean, a submission for Tom Nolan was not on my scorecard at all. They said he likes to play it on the feet and he likes to just stand and bang. And him to pull off a submission here against Charlie Campbell. I mean, maybe it was just because he was because Charlie Campbell did crack Tom Nolan pretty early in this fight as well. Maybe he just feared the power coming back in his face, and it worked out in his favor to get this on the ground, and it was all said and done from there. I don't really have
Yeah.
much to say on this fight. Tom Nolan just looks like a fun fighter. He's young. He's 25.
I honestly thought this fight wasn't gonna go to decision, and I mean it didn't. I was leaning towards Campbell, but yeah, Nolan, like we were talking about, he's a dog, bro. He is a dog, and he found that submission in the first round too.
Yeah. I don't really got much.
So
I don't really got much to say on this fight. I mean, I feel like Tom
yeah,
Nolan. I don't really know what's next for him. This kind of felt like a whichever prospect got out of this one, it was kind of just set up to go take on another vet and then find themselves
for sure.
getting set up for the rankings. I don't really know how to play matchmaker with Tom Nolan. He is a fun fighter. Maybe if Slaviklaus is still around, maybe. I don't know if he is anymore, but that would be someone I would look at. Charlie Campbell, I don't know.
Roofy.
feed him to the wolves. Yeah, we'll play matchmaker with more of these guys that are a little more high profile fights that make more sense. It's kind of hard to look at these guys that are still a ways away from the rankings.
100%.
Okay, here we go. This is the fight. I had a little mental contemplation after this fight with my gambling about if I want to take a break or not, because this one hurt. This one was insane. And of course, it's just some crazy shit that's got to happen to you when you're on your last leg or you're getting near to your last legs. And this fight was the epitome of everything I just said. Jake Matthews had this through and through in the first round. He looked like a very clean boxer. He got this on the ground. Had a mounted guillotine, and the count you see the clock in the background. It's coming down 5, 4, 3, 2, and then Neil Magny's arm goes off to the side like he's looking like he's about to go out. He's going limp, and the ref at 1, you can go watch as many times as you want, pulls Jake Matthews off, says he's out, and then the bell goes off. And Jake Matthews goes through this whole fucking celebration and then gets told that no, the bell rang. It's like you pulled me off before the bell.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen some shit like that where they go and continue the fight. Like, we've seen fights, you know, I'd rather the referee just own up to it and fucking move on with it. We've seen it happen with guys, you know, all the time. You know, bad ref stoppages, like Robbie Lawler, for instance. We've seen that where he looks like he's out in a submission choke, and then the ref pulls him off, and then, you know, he just apologizes to him. That's all you can do as the ref, is just be the man and apologize. But instead, you do some shit that, like, I've never seen happen before, and you continue the fight. Now Jake Matthews is fighting on, you know, zero adrenaline, zero fucking, his brain is just full of mush at that point. I bet he feels like he's just in there for bullshit. Feels like he just got cheated out of the fight, and he kind of did. I mean, second round, he looked like he was still in control. But then Neil Magny pulled off a Neil Magny performance, you know, and he dogged it out in the third, just absolutely bitched Matthews in the third. And that, you know, that was probably on Jake Matthews' poor decision making, because, you know, fight's still going on. You still got to go through with it, unfortunately, and you still got to fight your fight. And yeah, Neil Magny just absolutely fucking bitched him. And it's unfortunate to see. Jake Matthews' camp's already said that they're disputing this, but from a gambling standpoint, it does nothing for us because they have to get that done the night of. You know,
Yeah.
anything down the road it's just whatever they want to do on their end. But, you know, sports books look at it and they don't really give a shit. They're like, if it's not if it's not fixed that night, then we don't care. So very, very unfortunate. Who knows how the Australia Commission handles this, if they just turn it into, you know, like a 10-6 round in favor of Matthews, or if they actually just make it a no contest, which I think they should do. It'd be pretty wild to think that, you know, you give it a 10-6 and then it just still ends inside the distance, and it's just like a, you know, majority win in favor of, you know, Magny, or however they score it.
Yeah.
Pretty weird fight. And after this, my night was just totally ruined. You know, I was pretty pissed the rest of the night because this is one of those cards that you look at and you're like, you know, you could only get like one or two wrong. Like, it feels like it's a very pretty one-sided card. It's pretty obvious to see how they're gonna win and who's gonna win. And, you know, we felt that way most of this fight, most of this card. Like I said, I got the Eli one wrong. That was, you know, the only one I really got wrong. But when I made a full card ticket, I just said under 1.5 on the rounds. And on my full card ticket, I had Jake Matthews inside the distance, which should have hit, like we've said. Obviously, it didn't. So on my full card ticket, this was the only one that got wrong. Let's move on to the next one. So, Neil Magny, I mean, there's nothing for the guy going forward as far as matchmakers go. I mean, it's just like, he's just gonna sit here and just play the fucking doormat, keep taking in all these prospects. I don't really know who they give him. Someone just called him out a few weeks ago. Who was that? You remember that?
I'm not sure, but yeah, all I have to say is I'm pretty much in the same boat. Um, I did have an epiphany before the fight started, and I remember thinking about Neil Magny went to Canada, beat Mike Malott, which Mike Malott was a huge favorite over Neil Magny, and Neil Magny was getting bitched first half of the fight, but all of a sudden, come round three, Neil Magny just dogs and just fucking puts Mike Malott out, and he does the same thing here to Jake Matthews. So I've come to the conclusion that anytime Neil Magny fights, I'm just fading that entire fight. I don't care who he's fighting. He could be fighting John Jones. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna fade the entire fight. He could be fighting Tom Aspinall. He could be fighting Ilya Taporia. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just. That's the Neil Magny has taken my money 3 times. Neil Magny
Oh,
has taken my money three
fuck
times.
him.
So yeah. Um yeah. I
Yeah.
got nothing else to say. Let's move on.
All right, let's get out of here. On to the what was co-main, got swept out of co-main. Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Tavares. This was another fight. You know, Jack Jenkins, I thought, was going to get a knockout here, but
Mm.
Tavares proved how much of a dog he is. Um,
Hey. Jenkins almost got that submission, bro. He almost got a submission
yeah.
halfway through the fight. He almost got a rear naked on Tavares.
Mm.
Uh Just wanted to say that because I did talk about Jenkins by sub, and I was sitting at plus 900. So
Yeah,
that was close. That was
yeah,
real close.
yeah, and yeah. I mean, this fight. I mean, it was a great fight. But like I said, I was just totally out of it at this point. So like my memory on these fights going forward, I'm just like whatever. But no, this was a good fight in favor of Jenkins. He kind of did what we said. You know, he's gonna throw the leg kicks, try and knock the base off the boxer, make him fight. You know, a little uncomfortable. And he definitely did. He almost got Tavares out of there on the feet as well. I mean, he had him in a sub, like you're saying. He had him cracked a few times. Uh, but it just kind of you know, it kind of just played his way through. You know, end of the third, he finds his way on top again. His wrestling definitely did play a big factor in this fight as well. Um, and yeah, you know, he gets out of there unscathed. He was emotional in his interview because you know he was coming off of injury. He had 2 losses in his last 5. One due to, like we said, we talked about on the show, his shoulder dislocation thing. When he tried to do the throw, and then he lost, you know, his last time out, and then he gets a win again. You know, it's a big step in the right direction for Jack Jenkins here. He's still a fun prospect in my eyes. He's still a guy that I think can make some noise, especially in this featherweight division. I feel like it's pretty wide open, you know, up through the rankings for the most part. A lot of those guys have felt pretty inactive. Tavares, you know, he missed weight again, up a division. He was at bantamweight. He came up featherweight and somehow still missed. And you know, he still put on a platter like he's, you know, a great fighter. But you know, it feels like UFC's kind of got their morals all mixed up because you know we've seen great fighters who have done a lot for this you know, organization. I'm not saying Brian Battle really has. He's kind of the fighter that I'm trying to, like, you know, talk about without talking about. But you know,
Yeah.
we see these fighters that miss weight and they're just cut for whatever fucking reason, and we get guys that miss weight all the time. You know, we had Kelvin Gastelum last fight or last week or 2 weeks ago because there wasn't anything last week, and you know he's still around. Whether or not, you know, he has a Hall of Fame fight, it's just feels weird for the UFC to keep guys like this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, in this case though, I would cut Tavares a little bit of slack considering it is a short notice fight. But
Yeah,
no, the Gaslam shit, nah, bro.
yeah,
There's no reason for that. You were scheduled.
mm,
And in my opinion, I feel like that's the biggest part of being, you know, being a fighter. Like that right there is you're not like that's not the biggest part, but like that's the biggest part of your job.
mm,
You know, is being able to make that weight and then going out there and and fighting.
yeah,
But you have to make that weight first of all
yeah,
before you can even try to fight.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like we said, this is a great fight for Jenkins. You know, moving forward, you know, he's not in the rankings. He's not going to be anywhere near the rankings again. He will be probably, you know, another 2 fights from now. I think he's got, you know, 1 or 2 more big fights before he touches some of these guys. There's a main event going on with Steve Garcia and Onama down the road. You know, if they do want to get him anywhere near you know, the rankings, I think maybe loser of that one would be an interesting one. Um, I don't know. And he said this is his first fight back from a loss. Maybe he's still got a few more before he gets there. But yeah, let's move into the co-main. We got Mr. Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. This one had round 1 props all over it. You know, Erslan, he has a shit ton of first round knockouts. Crute, he has a lot of first round finishes, KO and submission. You know, they talked about on the commentating table, there's 20 combined first round finishes in this fight. There's no chance I saw this fight go into a decision. And I'm just glad we saw one finally not go to a decision that, you know, we felt like was gonna. Uh, yeah, this was a great fight for Crute. Crute looks like he's back. More than back, man. I mean, he pulled off, so it's funny they call it a rear naked choke because it was like a WWE like bulldog choke.
Yeah.
The shit he pulled, bro. But yeah, it's tough sledding for Urslan. This is his 3rd loss in a row now, and he's 0-3 in the UFC since they brought him on board. You know, he lost a split decision, lost a unanimous decision, and now he gets finished in his 3rd time out. If they want to keep him, I think they need to see a win, and then, you know, you got 3 losses in a row. We've seen a couple of guys like Medina. We've seen guys like whoever Medina just fought a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah.
You know, your fourth fight out, if you're not getting a win, you're cut. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. So I think he's maybe got one more fight. Like I think we've talked about how they signed 4 fight contracts to start or some shit like that. So yeah, I think he's got one more fight. Crute, however, if he's at the end of a contract, he's 100% re-signed. But either way, moving forward, he is going to make a lot of noise in the light heavyweight division. He just looks so good. He handled a power striker like Urslan with ease. Found him on the ground, completely controlled it on the ground. He was heavy on Urslan. Urslan looked like the bigger guy, but Crute looked stronger, and he played it smart. Yeah, I'm just happy to see Jimmy Crute get another win streak under his belt. He had some tough sledding before he went through his little retirement fight, or not retirement fight, but retirement phase. So I'm happy for him.
I had Jimmy Crute round 1.
Yeah, I was sitting on Jimmy Crute submission for this one. I had Jimmy Crute money line as well. My full card ticket had this at Jimmy Crute money line. And I feel like this was gonna be the fight I was sweating, not the Jake Matthews fight, because I knew the potential coming on the other side. That big KO potential. Crute's been cracked a few times. Yeah, and so my last leg, which we'll get to next. I mean, Jimmy Crute at this point, I think he is ready for the top 15. I mean, he was getting close to that point before he went into his little losing streak. And the way they jumped Dominic Reyes, he had his little losing streak. Crute kind of deserves that same treatment. I think he can jump up into up near these rankings now because he's on a 2-fight finish streak.
For sure.
I don't think. I mean, if they don't, I feel like it might be a little bit of favoritism in a sense. But I think Crute's there. I think Crute can crack the top 15 now for sure. So yeah, let's move on to the main event. But before we get into the main event, guys, if you stuck around this long, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, leave a like if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Now, as always, we appreciate it. Much love. Getting into the main event, got Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes. My pick was Dominic Reyes. On my full card ticket, if you're curious, it lost back on Jake Matthews. On this one, I had the fight to not start round 4, so it hit minus Jake Matthews. Even if they overturned it, it's not going to change anything. It was like a $5 ticket, would have won $2,500. It stings. It sucks. One of those lotto ones.
I mean, including the parlay that I had won with the early prelims, I had about 4 tickets riding on the main card, and all of them hit, but the Jake Matthews fight. What I had in this fight was just not going the distance, and we talked about it being a huge favorite, but I played it, I put it in there as a parlay piece, and sure enough, yeah, it would have hit. Joe would have been up, about 2,500. I would have been up about 17, but instead got that small 4-legger on the early parlay or on the early prelims.
Yeah, and then I was just sitting on a goose egg because like I said with these fight nights, I try not to overplay my hand. I did a few buybacks, like I said I was gonna, but that was really it. I didn't really try to overextend too much. I did chase a little bit at the end, and that was more just me being pissed off at the Jake Matthews thing. I tried to chase these last 3 fights.
Yeah.
Still got nothing out of it. I was because I was chasing the high odds. I wasn't playing straight. But let's talk about the fight. Carlos Ulberg, he just looked very poised. He knew that he was in a sense being very disrespected because he thinks that he should have already been fighting for the belt. I mean, he just beat Jan. At that time he was the 3 rank. and now Olberg's the 3 rank, and he's got to fight down. He's got to fight another up and comer instead of just fighting
Yeah.
ahead. And he made a big statement in this one. You know, he took Buddy's head clean off. Dominic Reyes he just looked very uncomfortable in that fight. I think he was, he wasn't really prepared to see what was coming back at him. I don't really know what he was thinking as far as striking on his end, because he didn't throw anything out there. He kind of walked around, and
He's like waiting.
he was measuring, and instead of just getting volume out there, seeing what he reacts to, it was just the one time he did get a sequence going out there, he gets his head cracked off and gets dropped. And yeah, I mean, definitely felt like a heavy mismatch. I mean, the Reyes Cinderella runs over. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him getting anywhere near the belt. I don't really know if that really was what people thought. I thought that obviously going into this fight that he would. I believed in it, but now that we see where he really is, I think he'll be a fun guy in the rankings. I think he'll be a guy that is always gonna be in the fight, just not this one. Olberg is just different, man.
You know who I see Reyes fighting next though?
Who?
Bogdan Guskov.
No, no. Guskov's fighting Jan. I think they already booked.
Is he?
I think they already booked it. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who they give him. Don't give him a killer though. Don't let my sweet prince get his head taken off.
Nah, I mean, yeah, exactly like you said though. Oberg, watching this fight, Oberg was just moving different. He was moving like he owned that bitch.
Yeah.
You know, he it was a chess match, and Oberg knew everything that Dominic Reyes was about to throw at him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, matchmaker. It's pretty clear cut here. Olberg next up for the title shot. There's no. I feel like there's just zero chance you deny the guy. I mean, I think they maybe look at what's that fight? Jamal Hill. Not Jamal Hill. Who's Yuri fighting? Yuri's fighting
Roundtree.
Roundtree. They look at that fight, and I think if Yuri wins, they go with Olberg. If Roundtree wins and Ankalaev win, I feel like they're gonna play some weird matchmaking with however this title fight goes, because they want to see new competition. We haven't seen Yuri versus Ankalaev. So I think if Yuri wins, they might stick with Ankalaev. If Pereira wins, we might be getting the Olberg Pereira fucking sweet dream matchup, The Rock versus John Cena WrestleMania type shit.
That
Like
would be
like
insane.
we might be seeing some wild matchups here. And I think they're kind of just gonna see how this plays out on 320 this week. Uh, and I think we'll have our hands full down the road with
100%.
this division. I think that title shot's gonna be kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna have a busy next 2 months, damn near.
Yeah,
Uh, we have a UFC event for the next 7 weeks every Saturday.
yeah. Well, we have down the road a card we're going to, the UFC
Yep.
Vancouver card, which has already kind of fallen apart a little bit in the main event, which I'm kind of upset about, but not really. I still think the experience is what matters. You're going, be grateful you're going. Well,
Oh, it's still gonna be fun, 100%.
yeah,
And Vancouver is pretty beautiful, so
yeah,
I think we're gonna have a good time, bro. Every time I ask somebody about Vancouver, they always tell me good things. So I think we're gonna have a blast, especially with the event. So
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the end of the recap, guys. We appreciate if you stuck around. We're gonna get working on these videos for UFC 320. Get them out to you for Tuesday and Friday. Appreciate you. Make sure you get notifications on so you know when those drop. Otherwise, yeah, they drop at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 on the East Coast.
yeah,
Just be ready. Be ready to get some ball knowledge.
yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you if you watched this whole video, even if you just skip through it. I don't care. You watched it.
Yeah.
Leave a like, leave a comment, share this to some random person in your friends list. We appreciate you guys, and stay cozy.
That goes. Peace.